So I wasn't gonna actually film this and post it, but I figured somebody might have some ideas on doing something similar, and this might be helpful. So this is gonna be a forklift attachment to put a ball or probably receiver hitch on it, so I can move the trailers around a little easier. Right now I use a ball that goes through a hole in the fork, and I constantly have a little bit of issues with it because it moves around. So this is 9 inches here to here, because each fork is 4 inches. I bent this with that. So I'm gonna cut it right here on this line, and probably cut it in half, and then put the two on top of each other and weld them together. That way I'll have a nice little square box with pretty good sides. So it would end up being 18, so 9 inches each. So I'll have a 9 inch deep box that I can use on my forklift. So that's the forklift. Anybody with eyeballs can tell you the holes don't line up the same. This one here is 3 inches center to the edge of the fork. This one here is 2.5. Not a big deal, but that's just something I got to keep in mind. The forks can go all the way to each other. Actually, I'll double check that, but I looked up here and I didn't see any obstructions, but I didn't look here in the middle. But I'm fairly certain they'll go all the way to each other. But before I finish cutting and welding, I'm going to fire this bad boy up, lift the forks up, and put them together to make sure I'm not mistaking and go through a whole bunch of work for no reason. Alright, the forks do come all the way together. All the way together. Damn, I can't speak today. Anyways, you can see they're definitely off as far as how far apart they are. I'm just going to drill the box I make to make them match. It just makes more sense to drill the box. Definitely not going to put more holes in the fork. So, with that being said, I'll start on my box making. I kind of want to put a receiver hitch on it so I can put different size receivers in it. But we'll see. Let me lower this fork real quick and we'll go from there. Like I said, I need to start the air compressor, which is in the shed over there, so I can get the plasma cutter going and zip that, zip, and then zip it here in the center, zip, stack them, weld them. Actually, I'm going to put another piece of steel in the middle, so it'll be in the middle of the two forks. That way it gives me, I guess the best way to say it is it'll be more rigid. It'll be, instead of just having two sides, it'll have three. So it won't, I hope it won't have a tendency to bend. So that's going to be the plan I'm going to look for now. This is 1.5 inches. I'm pretty sure I have 1.5 inch bar stock, which will make it, you know, easier. That's obviously 2-ish, inch-ish. I'm sure I have it somewhere. I just gotta find it. In all honesty, I really should be taking a day or a week and just cleaning this whole garage up. I've been rather lazy on that lately. The weather's finally turning nice. Maybe it's not a bad time to do it. That's 1 inch again. That might be. I think that's. It's like 1 1/4. Definitely shy. So that's not going to work. We'll look around, see what we can find. All I need is 9 inches. Maybe I'll just cut some steel from somewhere else. I don't know. We'll figure that out in a minute. Alright, using my 22-year-old plasma cutter, I was able to cut that in half. Cut that piece off. And I'm using these aluminum blocks and clamps to hold them steady. I'm gonna weld here, and then on the other side, then I'll probably take out the aluminum blocks and toss a tack weld on, or as far as down as I can, on the inside of both sides. And then I'm gonna cut a piece of 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna drill a couple holes here. Pocket? Nope, it's right there. So around midpoint, I'm gonna drill a couple holes, 1/4 inch or whatever, maybe 5 on each side, and then I'll plug weld into the 1/4 inch bar, whether I cut it out of that 1/4 inch stuff here. That's probably what I'll do, especially if that's the size I need. I'll just cut and use that piece, or this piece here, even though that looks thinner than this side. I don't know if I can use one of those. That's what I'll do. So matter of fact, before I weld and drill, I'm gonna go ahead and measure how tall this is. Well, I had the plasma cutter and air compressor running. I'm gonna get a piece cut out that'll go in the center, and then I think at that point I could shut that down because I won't need that running anymore. I'm debating if I'm gonna use the stick rod because I got a barrel of shit, and since this is a leftover type day of not using good stuff, I might use some of that rod, because that's a stick rod and TIG welder, the Hobart. So I might just use the stick rod on that and just go to town with it. Debating if I'm gonna clean the table or if weld out here. I don't know, we'll see. But for right now, the goal is to blind a piece that can go up in here, cut it out, get it ready, drill holes both sides, slide that piece in, weld it. So cut piece first. Surprisingly well for old rod and not cleaning off. This one here is a little choppy, but a little slower, a little higher heat, and I think I'm good. This is 7014, which is a good rod, but it's been sitting out for a while, so I don't know how good it is anymore. Alright, I got it all welded together. This is 4 inches here and here, so I got 1 inch of spacing in between. So I'm putting this piece, which I cut from there, which is actually, well, it's squished now because it's in the vise, but it should fit perfect in the middle. The holes are so I can tack weld or plug weld right onto this thing. I'm also going to do like I did in here and run a bead on the inside right at the edges, which is something you can't really do with the MIG welder easy, but with the stick rod you can get that rod up in there, and you can see how I did both these sides and those sides, just to give it a little bit of extra support. So once I do this, which I'm going to probably do now, right? Still hot. So once I do this, I'll probably plug weld first, flip it, plug weld the other side, and then run some beads on each side of that plate. So let's get that done. So I got it welded together. Some of the welds came out nice, some didn't. The result of not cleaning up stuff, I guess. I made this little cardboard template with the 1/4 inch gap to where I can slide it on here, and then I used a punch and I punched the holes. That way I know it should fit. It fit here, so it should work out. So now I'm going to take it to the mill and toss in some, I don't know, 9/16, 5/16, I don't know, 5/8 holes, 5/8 probably. Let's put the bolt back. Alright, so she's finished. She's ugly, but she's going to do exactly what she's supposed to. Oh. That goes on. This goes in. That goes in. Put a ball on it, 2 5/16, whichever. Right? So, pull pin, receiver hitch up, pull pin 2, 3, that's all. And then where do I put the other pin? So, now I'm all set. You know what I have? Hang on. I have that I found on the freeway one time. We call it yard plunder, road plunder, whatever. But then 1 7/8, 2 and 2 5/16. So I have all of them all the time. And I may actually just put it all the way back. I don't need to extend it any further. Right? Doesn't need to use that hole. I can just let it go like that and not that. But then it might slide. Anyway, that's finished. Cheesy. It worked. Battery on this critter died. I've had it for a number of years. It's never charged the batteries. Alternator, wiring, something's messed up. So I just charge it every once in a while. And it seems to do fine for me. So that was my project of the day. Hopefully you guys found something to do. If not, hopefully you enjoyed just chilling. But that was all good.